r/ask Reddit. What is something that your profession allows you to do that would otherwise be illegal? I arrange for people to take power tools, knives and ropes into prisons. Santa? Just laughed loud enough to startle the shit out of my dog. Thank you for this comment. I worked in construction in a prison. 2 hours to check in. Work 4 hours. 2 hours to check out. Heaven forbid you forget an essential tool outside of the 17 locked doors and gates. Why does it take so long to check in out? Our sister company at my old job did prison work. One day in the yard a gigantic guy walked over, picked up a 24-inch pipe wrench, and made a beeline for another guy. Luckily a guard intervened. Construction tools can be used as weapons. Disposal of dead bodies. Boil them. Mash them. Stick them in a stew? Rub oil on naked people for money. Architect. I can freely look up clients' social security numbers, sometimes their bank accounts, and just about all of their most personal information. FBI? Probably works for Facebook. Facebook Bureau of Investigation. Yep, I stole over 200 identities this past tax season. I even told the IRS I was doing it. Put it on a big form and everything. The best part is, my victims paid me to do it. Carry a gun on an airplane. Now that's a job that I think would be interesting to hear about. There's a Liam Neeson movie about him being an air marshal. I doubt they see as much action IRL though. I get to use all the for official use only center median U-turns on the highway. I had a friend get pulled over for doing this, and the cop came up and said to him these are for official use only. His response was yeah, I was officially using it. It went well. Once when I was in the Navy as an E3, I got a terrible haircut at the ship's barber shop. It was so jacked up you wouldn't believe it. Anyway, you write in the log how your haircut was, so I wrote suck dog nuts. By the time I got to my shop, my first class was already standing out in the passageway waiting for me. I didn't even say anything, just turned around and went back to the barber shop. Their first class came out and started yelling at me. And at one point he said that the logbook was an official logbook. I replied that this was my official haircut that I had to officially walk around with the next couple of weeks. It went well. Go into people's gardens in the middle of the night. Wait, WTF job is this? An opposum? I deliver newspapers. I start at 4 AM. Cut off your clothes. See you naked, and electrocute you with 2 kg of electricity, all while I have my hands all over your chest. Also drive far above the speed limit, force cars to veer for you, possess and inject opioids, and put unconscious people into a van and drive them off to a building where many people die and people are regularly cut open. Break into houses and steal cars. What's your job? Auto and domestic locksmith aka burglar with a business card. If I wanted to get into lockpicking as a hobby, where would I start? Buy a beginner's set, a quality beginner's set, and maybe some padlocks. Don't buy a 24-piece made in China set. Half the wacky designs aren't real useful and usually all but one won't be useful for actually learning anything beyond jiggle this around and a shitty lock might open. Look for a US company selling a 4-pick and 4-tension wrench set for $20 to $25 and you'll probably have a dependable and well-rounded set. Sparrow's lockpicks have been my favorite, but I've only scratched the surface beyond the lessons I've already described. Chop up various human organs. Sometimes I take a little piece home with me. Pathologist. I get to walk into my workplace with an axe and nobody blinks an eye. It would be very strange to not be carrying an axe, to be honest. Imagine if you carried in a feather duster and the building went into lockdown and the surrounding streets were cordoned off. That's how my staff act around a feather duster if I ask them to use it. I get paid by the US government to look at child pornography, mostly sitting in office buildings for Secret Service, FBI, Homeland Security, and, rarely, local police departments. This is because the government has to pay for a defense attorney if a defendant can't afford an attorney, and the attorney has the right to hire a computer forensic expert and check the evidence in person. In 20 years, I've seen only one case where the prosecuting attorney got the defendant mixed up with another defendant and I had to say, guys, this defendant does not have any of this evidence at all on his computer, and they quickly found the mistake. Other than that, The government mostly gets it right, but there have been a few cases where although the evidence existed, the government got search warrants that were not exactly legal. Most of the work is not designed to show that the defendant is innocent but rather to quantify how guilty he is, and or find evidence that sort of explains the story, and or if they represent a threat to others. In other words, it's used at sentencing but not at trial. No one wants to present this evidence in front of a jury. Watching film releases before the official release date. Tackle people because they have something I want. Drive fast. Talk on my phone. Put needles into people. Cut off clothing of unconscious people. Newspaper round sure have changed since I were a boy. Depends on the route, I guess. Last week I had an appointment with a woman who stabbed me repeatedly for the sole purpose of permanently scarring me. At my old job it was okay to kill people. I never did, but if I did it would have been okay. Finger a minor in front of a live audience. Okay, explain. I'm a tandem skydiving instructor. It would otherwise be illegal to push people out of an airplane from 13,000 feet above the earth. Give people drugs. Also, letting them die with their advanced legal consent. I think it's legal for most people to let people die. 2. Going on closed trails or off trail in areas that have been closed to the public for field research. Divide by zero. Specifically, as a mathematician, I'm allowed to define mechanics that will allow me to perform operations such as defining by zero. Actually, I'm allowed to define anything. Congratulations, you are now defined as wearing a really cool hat. Why, thank you. I quite like this beanie as well. Having access to clients' personal information, SSN, address, phone number, etc. along with their finances. Handle a loaded automatic rifle. Sure, legal in some countries for most, but not in mine. Lock people in psych wards without their consent. My girlfriend just got her license to do just that. Make people radioactive. Take children from their parents and keep them for an extended amount of time from 6-12 hours a day. We know what emails you write, what porn you surf, and what little work you actually do. We are admins. I work in a bespoke cake and brownie shop, and we usually just take cake whenever we want, which would be considered theft anywhere else, lol. I am legally allowed to file someone else's taxes and dispense advice in relation to tax. Injure endangered species. It's for science, I swear. Drunk and driving. Open the drawer of a cash register and take money out. You have to be giving money to the customer, sure, but it's still technically illegal to take money from that register out if you're not an employee. Drug people and cut them. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.